So I think we're going to get ready to start recording soon. Thank you for coming, and we'll just give it another minute. Anyone last? Oh, Peggy, welcome. Great to see you. Oh, Joni, I had a roommate who listened to nothing but Pat Boone music in the late 80s. Yeah, I can feel that. My dad went through a Pat Boone phase too, but he was a grown man. So, all right. Well, thank you all for joining us again. Peggy, since you just joined us, Melanie's posted the links to our tool that we're demoing and the link to our handout, which we would love to have you download. All right.
Thanks, Elisa, for that awesome icebreaker. It's so nice to know everybody outside of the classroom or the Canvas shell. You don't get to hear those embarrassing moments all the time. Can everybody hear me? Is there a thumbs up that we're good to go? I was having some technical difficulties earlier, so I'm glad I figured that out. So it's 6 o'clock. We're going to get started. First off, thank you for joining us tonight. We're so excited to have you. Whether you have used the screencasting before or this is totally new to you, we really hope that you get something out of this webinar. I'll introduce myself first. I'm going to be one of your co-hosts tonight. So my name is Megan. I am a math teacher in Boulder, Colorado. I have been teaching math for the last 7 years. I love bringing technology into my classroom. And so one thing that I've done with being able to record my screen is I've made tutorials for my students. And with these tutorials, I don't have to stand in front of the classroom and show them how to use this tool. I've actually made calculator tutorials where they just watch the video and then they can replicate it on their calculator. So that's how I've used screencasting tools. And so as we go on today, think about how you can use them in your life or where you can apply them to your job. So as we get started, I'm going to go over a few ground rules. When you're not talking, if you can please mute your mic, just so we can eliminate that background noise. Also, turn your camera on. We'd love to see you. And at any time, if you have questions or comments, feel free to speak up or throw them in the chat box. And then we're also going to be recording this webinar for future viewings to help us out. And if anybody else would like to learn how to use Screencastify, this recording will be available to them. So along with me tonight, I've got 3 other wonderful co-hosts, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So you've already met Elisa through the icebreaker, but we'll let her formally introduce herself to everybody.
Hi, everyone. Elisa Gallion. As you can see, it's a fun name to both say and spell. I'm currently an instructional designer, as I mentioned, based in Salt Lake City, Utah. I've also worked in instructional design, e-learning, curriculum develop, in gaming, as in gambling, not the computer gaming, construction, retail, and nonprofit. It's something I love doing. Chris, I think your microphone's muted.
Really good at that. Sorry. My name is Chris Rabideau, and I live in Michigan. I currently am a professor at a local college, and I teach information technology. I deal with such things as Windows operating systems, A+ certification, how to take apart a computer, put back a computer. I also deal with online classes as well. I teach those. I'm also a wedding photographer on the weekends, and I ran across Screencastify due to the fact that I wanted to explain to people how to do something, but I didn't want to constantly repeat how to do it. I also use it as a resource to refresh myself how to do something. VLOOKUP in Excel is something very new that I'm coming across as a very useful tool for my other job. And I didn't want to keep going back and asking someone how to do it. So therefore, after I learned it, I recorded it, and now I have that as a reference tool for myself, kind of like Megan uses it for a calculator tutorial for her students. So it works out very well as a tutorial for yourself too. And that's it. So Melanie, you're muted too.
Hello, I'm Melanie Sokol, and I'm currently a high school math teacher in New York, but getting ready for a big move to Baltimore at the end of the school year for a middle school math teaching job. I'm looking to eventually become a flipped classroom in some sense of the word. So I know that Screencastify is going to be helpful for me in both the calculator use that Megan uses it and in just teaching lessons virtually so I can do other things in the class with the kids.
All right, thanks everyone. So once again, Melanie's going to be watching that chat box all night. So if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them in there, and then we will get to those comments as we transition from topic to topic. So as we go through tonight, there's a few things that we want to make sure that we hit and talk about. So if you haven't used Screencastify, we're going to talk about that and actually what it is and what it does. We will show you how to install it, and then Chris will take you through a demonstration, and then we're going to let you play. So you're actually going to record a video for us, and then after you record your video, we will show you how to save it, share it, and replay it so you can watch it over and over again. So I'm going to turn over to Elisa.
Great. So when we were thinking of how we wanted to present to you tonight and what we wanted to present, we thought of a teacher, and I know somebody who's been in the teaching field a long time. We've changed his name here, but we'll call him Jack. And Jack is a very experienced teacher. He wants to incorporate more technology into his classroom, but he doesn't want to spend a ton of time demonstrating, how to log in, how to submit assignments, all that kind of fun stuff. So he wants to find a way to find really easy, create click-by-click instructions that he can share with his students and that they can go in and access anytime that they need a refresher. So Jack sat down and kind of looked at what does he need? What does he want in a tool? He wants something that's either free or low cost, something that's easy for him to set up and use, and something that he can quickly record high quality screencasts and that he can share with very little hassle with his students and maybe even some other teachers. So tonight we're gonna take you, and to a certain extent, Jack, if you were here, how to install and use Screencastify to capture videos, how to access and share these Screencastify recordings, and how can you use these either Screencastify or other screencasting tools in your line of work.
All right, so I'm going to start taking you through exactly what is Screencastify. Before I do so, though, I have a quick poll question for you guys to answer, so I'm going to launch that right now. And have you ever used a screencasting tool before? Yes, 100% you have. No, you 100% haven't. Or there's the I'm not sure for I might not even know what a screencasting tool is just yet. So we're waiting for one more voter. All right, so I'm going to actually end the poll because you've all voted. And I'll let you know that I'm going to share the results. And shows that, can you see the results? What it ends up showing you is that 62% of you have already used a screencasting tool before, 15% of you have never, and 23% of you are not 100% sure just yet. So that's actually pretty much what we thought it was going to be. So we hope to increase that number for the near future because we think they're really helpful. So what exactly is Screencastify? Well, first, a screencasting tool. Oh, we lost our PowerPoint. Do you want me to share the PowerPoint or you?
I got it, sorry.
Okay. No problem. All right, so a screencasting tool is a video of what's happening on your computer screen while you're talking in the background or while there's music playing in the background. It's basically videotaping what's on your computer screen for you to teach something. So it's also referred to as a video screen capture, and it's a great way to teach or share your ideas. So just 3 common examples, obviously there's a million examples of screencasts, are online screen tutorials, video lessons, and slideshow presentations. So Screencastify, the tool that we're going to focus on today, has both a free version and an upgrade paid version. So the free version is good for most people. What it does is it records up to 10 minutes per video, and you get a little embedded Screencastify watermark. You're allowed 50 recordings each month, and it automatically uploads to your Google Drive and your YouTube, and we'll walk you through how to do that later on in the presentation. If you go for the paid version, you're allowed an unlimited recording length and an unlimited recording of number of recordings. So you can record all the time you want and for every day of your life if you would like to. You don't get a watermark, and so it's a free of like pictures in the background. You're allowed to now crop and trim the video. So if you see that you have a bunch of tabs open and you don't want that, you can just crop out the tabs, and that way it just shows everything else. And now you can export it as an MP4 and an animated GIF. So Screencastify is not the only tool that there is out there. Obviously, there's 100 of them out there. Here's just 3 that we're going to compare. Screencastify is a Chrome extension. It's free to record the whole screen, but it doesn't have a screenshot capability. And it allows for video sharing between students and teachers. Snagit is allowed on your Windows, Mac, your iOS, your Android, and a Chrome. You pay $50 for a license. You can screen capture and screenshot, and it's easily able to be shared to YouTube and Google Drive. Whereas Captivate is good for your Windows and your Mac. It's $29.99 per month, or $1,099 for a regular membership, or $349 if you're a student or a teacher. So it's a good discount there. It has screen capture capabilities and an e-learning authorizing tool, and Scrum files. And for those of you who might not remember what Scrum stands for, it's Shareable Content Object Reference Model, which defines how content can be packaged. And that is allowed to be uploaded to a learning management system. So I'm going to turn it back over to Meg now. And as I do that, I'm also going to put the Screencastify link in their chat once again so that you can all open it up in another tab.
All right, thanks, Melanie. So now that you have an understanding of what Screencastify is, we want to take time to show you how to install it on your computer. The one thing is, though, is you have to use Google Chrome browser. And so if you don't have Google Chrome, you might just have to watch today and download later. I'm going to share my screen right now. And so you should see the Screencastify website come up. And so to install it, it's not very hard. You need to hit the Install Now button. You want to add this Chrome extension. So you'll notice in my bottom left that something's downloading. It's pretty quick. And now once you have it downloaded, I got confused the other day when I was doing this because it doesn't pop up right away. So if you look in your upper right-hand corner of the tab, you'll see this box with some lines in it. We're going to click on that to record. And now you have to go through this setup. So after you record a video, we want to save everything to our Google Drive. I'm going to sign in. And then once you sign in, it's going to automatically set up a folder in your drive for you. Set up tab recording and allow. And then once you get to the screen that says getting started with the orange bar, you are ready to go. If you have any questions on this part at all, we have everything referred in the handout. So if I pull up the handout, it's all right here for you to get started. At this time now, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to turn it over to Chris, and she's going to explain some awesome features of Screencastify. There you go, Chris. You're muted again, Chris.
Let's unmute me. Just share my screen. Okay, very good. There's Meg's cute little face. Gonna select the first one. So something that the younger generation does not realize is that this is old school video, like reel to reel. I'm assuming that's what that icon is supposed to be, not a box with little dots, but that's cute. I like that. I'm dating myself for sure. So once you have it installed, this is a wonderful tool for free, and I would highly recommend. I'm not here to pitch to tell you, but I paid for the upgrade due to the fact of it's very inexpensive for one. and I was actually making a recording at work, and it said, hey, too bad, guess what, you're done. And then I was devastated. So I went home and I purchased it so that doesn't happen to me anymore. So this was kind of brought up before, but I'm going to cover it again more elaborately. So we have a couple of choices here once you've clicked on the icon. And we have, the first one is desktop view. Desktop view means it's actually capturing everything on your desktop. So sometimes you may not want that. For instance, I've seen people with a very messy desktop with every icon and shortcut you can imagine, and that's not really efficient, right? You might not want to show that. Another thing is if you select embed webcam, that means that you're going to be showing just your face. You're not actually going to be capturing what you're recording. Like right now, I made the mistake of finding that out the hard way. Had nothing to show but my face. Show preview window. I don't know if you guys watch YouTube or not, but what that means is in the bottom right-hand corner that it's going to be recording what I'm showing you, and you're going to have my cute little face down in the right-hand corner the whole entire time talking to you. So as much as I say I'm cute, I don't like looking at myself. I'm going to unselect that box. If you want to look at yourself, feel free to check that box. Again, camera, if I select that, it's 100% just the camera. Tabbed view, I'm going to explain this. I'm not going to demonstrate it right now. I'm going to go back to desktop. What tabbed view is, Melanie was really good at explaining this. Currently right now I have 3 tabs open in Google, in Chrome. So it'll go through, it'll record the first tab that I have, but with tab recording, it's going to give you a shortcut. And so if I had another tab over here open for a lecture, instead of trying to go to it and typing it in and taking a long time and boring your viewers, you could just do a shortcut. It's going to tell you what it is, and then it'll start recording on the other tab. So right now I'm going to select desktop. I'm going to select record, and it's going to go through and it's going to ask me if I want to record my screen, which no. I want to select application window, which is then shrinking down what I actually have for you, the viewer, to see. So you don't see all the clutter on my desk. I'm pretty anal about that, though. It looks pretty good. So I'm going to select share. It's counting down, 3, 2, 1. It is now recording everything. So whomever I have over here in this little window, it's recording you. So we're going to have everybody here go on a scavenger hunt. I'm going to demonstrate what you're going to be doing yourself on a scavenger hunt. So therefore, the first thing that we're going to be requesting of you, and this will pop up in a slide later, so right now it's just a demonstration. You don't have to take notes. We'll have everything for you to do. But just for the recording purposes, just kind of watch along. So we're going to have you go to TED Talk. If you're not familiar with TED Talk, it's TED.com. I would highly recommend it. There's great lectures there. And then part of the scavenger hunt is that we want you to search. Upper right-hand side, you'll find a magnifying glass. And we want you to search for a kid president. If you spell it correctly, that helps. See, I have it here and I'm still spelling it wrong. And you'll find this cute little bumpkin, and you want to select that. That's one of the scavenger hunts. The next, what we want you to do is we want you to go to Google. And once you're in Google, we want you to have a little fun today. And I'm going to give thanks to Elisa for this. We're going to do a barrel, and barrel has 1 L, by the way, roll. And some magic happens. Whoa, if you get dizzy, I'm sorry. It was fun the first time. I don't know if you want to try it out for a second. I'm then going to stop my recording. I'm going to select the icon up here at the top, or not. There we go. Took a minute. I have a very slow internet connection, you guys. Sorry. So here it's telling me how many minutes I've recorded. 1 minute and 47 seconds. Boy, time flies when you're having fun, right? So I'm going to end the recording. What's going to happen next is it's going to pop up in my ear. It's going to replay everything. So I'm going to hit pause so that I don't hear that. You won't hear it, but I will. But you're going to see that pop up real quick. Okay, so this is everything that I just demonstrated to you. And then what happens is you have a couple of different options. With the free version, yours is going to look differently than mine. Elisa's going to go through and explain the saving part of it a little bit more extensive, so I really don't want to get into that. The paid version does have a trim And what that does is it allows you to just cut it down so that instead of seeing all the tabs that I have out here, like GE refrigerator, I was trying to buy a water purifier for my refrigerator and there's a little shortcut there. I could just select with a cropping tool the lower half, so you're not going to see all of my wonderful shortcut websites. And then I would save the edit. Then I'm going to pop up with all my other ones. There's cute Melanie again. And then from there, I'm going to have someone else go through and demonstrate the saving end of it. It'll be Elisa. But you do have some other options over here as well, too. I don't know if it popped up on Meg this time, but again, this is a Chrome extension. And what that means is if you have more than one email address that is a Google or Gmail email address, it's going to ask you to choose one. So I think hers kind of went past that. So you've got my account. If you're going to buy it, then it would go through and it would show you your information about your credit card and such. So we don't want to get into that. My recordings, that's where we're at right now. Options. Again, this is a paid version. You can default to go to Google Drive, which I do, locally on this device. See, I use this at work and I use it at home. So my preference is Google Drive. I don't know. You guys, Google Drive? Yay. Another thing that you can have is show notifications when recording a background tab. Another one is show drive upload progress. Now, another one, show video edit progress. I did hear that some people have a Chromebook, and when you have a Chromebook, that this right here can cause a problem. Pause on low disk space. Chromebooks are notorious for having low disk space, meaning not a big hard drive, because that's why they're made. They're made to not actually be a laptop, basically. So you want to uncheck that if you own a Chromebook. Otherwise, it's going to cause a lot of problems. It's going to pause on you. So that's just a little tidbit of information there that I learned. So if there's any questions, feel free to type anything down in the chat as we go through it right now. You can also put this on Google Plus if you have a Google Plus, which is awesome. If you made something and I have a Google Plus, then I want to put that out there. Switching accounts, that's what I was referring to. So I purchased this on an account, a Gmail account I made especially when I'm at work. And I also, where I teach at, it's also about cyber defense. So I'm a freak about cybersecurity and hacking. Therefore, my point of the conversation is I made up a specific Gmail account and paid for it and have a username and password that I use for this Screencastify at work. I don't use my personal email. However, I can switch that account, which is paid for, to my personal one when I'm at home. So you're not seeing my recordings necessarily from work because I'm purposely switching accounts to my personal one. Just a little safety precaution. You never can be too safe. So let's go back here. I'm going to go ahead and stop my sharing now. Okay. Do you guys have any questions?
So at this time, we're going to give you about 10 minutes or so, and we would like you to download Screencastify, and then you'll see on your screen the task that you have. So go to TED and find Kid President, do a barrel roll with Google, and then the third one is your choice. What do you want to share with the class? If you have any questions at all, we're here to answer, but we'll come back in about 10 minutes.
All right, and just to remind you, if you do have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself or to type your question in the chat.
So Angie, I'm going to answer your question because I'm sure there's other people who are having the same difficulty. Angie emailed me or chatted me separately, so a lot of you can't see her question, but it says, I have installed it, but I think I am missing where to start recording. So when you have it installed, up in the top right-hand corner, you should see that little video icon up in your Chrome. And once you click on that, there will be an option that says start recording.
Yep, so it's right here. Once you've got it installed, it's up here in the top right corner, which you can click on. All right, how about Melanie? Did you see Anne's question?
Yes, and do you have the link to the handout, or do you need it again?
I think if maybe we want to just kind of open up the handout and
So I will share my screen in a second once I find the handout myself. And you can all look at the handout from my screen for anyone who needs. There we go. Share screen. So here's our handout again. Here's a walkthrough on how to install. Here's a walkthrough, and there's some pictures. A walkthrough on setting up the screencast. And here's how to record. I'm going to try to do this so that you can all read at the same time and not get lost. Oh, we have
If anybody's getting stuck in one certain situation, we'd love to go through and demonstrate it again for you. So just go ahead and unmute yourself, or you can type something in the chat box.
I should stop moving my mouse because you guys all see that. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so Chris can re-demonstrate the recording part again.
Are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. So up here in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see this little black box, I guess we'll describe it as, with little dots. And so let me get out of this real quick here. There we go. I'm sorry, my internet is very laggy. So once I click the box, I like to get out of this over here. Once I click the box, you have the option of recording, a couple different options. Just to simplify it today, let's select desktop. So you're going to hit record desktop, and then it's going to ask you if you want to record your entire screen or just the application window. The application window means that it's just going to record what is on your Google Chrome on your browser. So that's what I'm going to choose. And share. It's counting down 3, 2, 1 in my ear. Now it's recording everything that I do. I'm going to go through and play with this, go back to my recordings. Like for that to go away. Wonderful. And then to go ahead and make that stop, it's like a toggle switch. So in order to stop that, you would just click on the icon again, give it a second because it is recording, so it's not laggy, it's just recording. Then you want to select end recording. It's going to process that. You don't have to do anything. It's going to play back in your ear. So you can hit pause. And then from there, you can choose where you want to save it to. It's going to default to Google Drive. You can also store it on your hard drive if you wish as well. So I'm going to stop my sharing. I don't know if you want to put the hand up out there again or not. That was probably pretty useful for them if they can't multitask the two screens.
All right, so I'm going to, it's sharing my screen as we speak. It's loading, share, maybe I should press share screen. So here it is again. I'm going to focus on the recording aspect, just because that's pretty much what you're doing right now. And Meg, how are we doing on time for them in the scavenger hunt?
We have about 2 more minutes or so. If everybody's ready, I know I saw a few yeses in the chat box. How is everyone able to, or was everybody able to record their screen? If we can get a few more yeses, then we'll move on.
All right, Michelle was good. I'm going to stop sharing my screen in the meantime so that when we do move on, we're ready to go.
All right, looks like we've got quite a few people who've been able to record. Great. And anybody, if you're still having some difficulties, if you could chat, send Chris a private chat and she'd be happy to help you out, or send Megan a chat or Melanie a chat. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a look at viewing your recordings, sharing your recordings, and saving your recordings. All right. So with your unpaid version of Screencastify, your recordings are going to be automatically uploaded to Google Drive. And from your Google Drive, it's actually really easy to share them to YouTube. With the upgrade, the paid version, as Chris pointed out, you can export your recordings as either an animated GIF or GIF. It's a personal choice, or an MP4 video. So let's take a look at how that looks right now. Whoops. All right, so here is my screen. We're gonna go and we're gonna look at my recordings. As you can see here, I've got about 4 different recordings that I've kept. I mean, if you don't like it, it's really easy to get rid of it. You can just hit delete. But we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this recording right here, which I recorded the other day for a different project. Hit pause on that so we don't have to watch it. As you can see right now, it's in my Google Drive. And if I want, I can just click on the link here to copy it, which I can then email to somebody else. Or if I double click on it, I can view it in another window. Now, if I wanted to share it, I just come to this lovely share icon here, click on that. And as you can see, YouTube is automatically selected. Because it's connected to my account, it's going to go right to my channel. So I can change the settings if I want to, that it can be public, unlisted, private, so only I can view it. But let's keep it as public for now. So we're going to hit upload. And you can see that it's going here, and it'll let us know in just a second. All right, and it's that simple. You can go and you can click on it. It will take you to YouTube where you can view it. But it's processing it right now, so we'll come back, but it's there. So if you want to download your video to your computer, just come over here, click the download button, which is the save to disk button. You can just click that, save video to disk. And what it's going to do, it's going to download a WebM file, which stands for web media. It's kind of a new file, and if you click on it, it will open it in your default browser. So we don't need to open it because we can see it right here because it's awesome. And as you can see right here, because I have the free version, here is the watermark that you will see. Fortunately, unlike some other programs, they put it kind of nice and out of the way. I've seen other programs where it's right here in the middle, which is one of the things that I like about Screencastify, is that it is there, but it's not kind of clogging up the page. So like Chris said, in the premium version, you have the option to export the animated GIF or export as an MP4. If I click on them, it's going to tell me that I need to be up to the paid version I can upgrade. You can also have a fixed frame rate if you want that, which is a nice thing in MP4. Or if you want to go with the GIF, you can choose the size that you want to go, but again, you would have to upgrade to do that. So let's go back to our presentation. So are there any questions?
Actually, there's a question for Chris that just came through in the chat. Is there any difference in video quality with those options that you have noticed? And you've used both versions, the paid and the free.
I have used both versions, and I'm a stickler with technology, and I have to tell you, there absolutely positively is not. It's 100% the same. The only difference is the amount of time that you get. I know it says that you get 10 minutes, but I was not talking for 10 minutes in my demonstration at work. It was trying to show myself how to use an Excel spreadsheet, again, a VLOOKUP that someone else showed me, complicated, a little complicated when you're a newbie, and it cut me off, and I panicked. I thought, whoa. So I rushed home and I purchased it. But no, everything is the same. Elisa covered it very well. And something that I noticed when she was talking right now is that, honestly, I'm not promoting not to buy it, but you could technically, in a different program, crop out that logo in the upper corner if you wanted to with iMovie or something like that. So there is a workaround. It wasn't intrusive, I felt. Did you feel that it was intrusive?
No. I mean, I added the video just as it is to another presentation for another class.
Yes, same.
I didn't even notice that the watermark was there, so I didn't feel like it was a big deal.
So what we want you to do right now is we want you to go ahead. We want you to figure out where your video is, find it in your Google Drive, and send off the link into the chat. And I'm going to share like one or two of them to see how we did. So Joni shared hers, and so Jen suggested that we would still watch the copyright rules when we have watermarks even in software. So that's something to keep in mind for those of you who are going to use it often.
That's a good point. Being a wedding photographer, I do understand that. You can give credit to things like Elisa in her school project, because I'm in the other class. It is notated, like at the, what's the end one? Sightings, references, reference page. Thank you. So I'm glad you said that.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen. Joni, if it's all right with you, we're going to share your video since you sent out your link. So I'm going to share my screen in a second. Share. And you can see what I'm looking at, and I've got to find the chat again. Where'd it go? There it is. If I go back into my chat, and we will click on, so I have to request access, and you might have to, my request has been sent. Oh, so here, in the meantime, while we wait for that, Cheryl sent hers, and hers was on YouTube already. So hers will be able to view. And so as you can see, YouTube is opening here. And she got a little 3-minute video here. So I'm going to play this. And here she goes. She went to YouTube. And here we're watching her go to YouTube. She searched for, she's hanging out in YouTube. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because we're not going to watch the whole thing. So she went to YouTube and searched for Kid President. And there he is. And then she was still watching Kid President. And here we go. We'll watch our barrel roll one more time. And what we noticed here was that actually when Cheryl just types in barrel roll, it doesn't do anything. So you actually have to type in the words do a barrel roll, and then it goes ahead and it works. So she actually tried it again, and we will continue on. She was still trying. And I'm curious to see what you chose to do. Oh, there we go. Now she got it. And then she went to YouTube again, or Yahoo again, sorry, and went to proflowers.com. I mean, I always want flowers too, so that's fun. So great job, Cheryl. Looks like you had a lot of fun playing with Screencastify. Anybody else upload it to YouTube, which is a little bit easier for us to view? Okay, now I have access to Joni's. She granted me permission. So I'm going to play hers as well. So she went to TED Talk. She typed in Kid President. And here we go. Okay, so she then went to Google. And we'll watch our barrel roll be successful. Typed in do a barrel. And what we learned when we were doing a practice, even though it gives you the option of doing a barrel roll twice or 10 times, it doesn't actually work. So you have to do that. And then she went to CU Denver, which is the great school that we all belong to. And we went there. So those are two really good shows. Then she ended her video right there. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to turn it back over to Elisa. So for those of you who got the video done, great job. For those of you who are still working with Screencastify, let us know if you have any questions.
Great, thanks, Melanie. All right, so kind of getting back to our old friend Jack. Now that he's seen Screencastify and installed it and had some time practicing in it, he's come up with some ideas of how he can use it in his classroom, and not just in his classroom, but in his work. You know, he's like, I can create, you know, he can create some software demos or instructional videos for his students. He can record short lessons for them to access at any time or access over, you know, any kind of holiday or break. He's also can grade assignments. You can do a screencast of him grading the assignments with audio commentary. And then he can also share practices and techniques with other teachers in his school or with other professionals who are in his network. All right, so we want to know how you're going to Screencastify, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that Chris can take us into the whiteboard where we can have some fun.
Thank you, Elisa. Do I have control of it now? Do you see a whiteboard? Very good. So what you need to do is you can go up at the top. You should have a drop down, and then you select annotate. And from there, you should have all kinds of different choices. You can use text. And we would like for you to share how will you use Screencastify. You can type it in. You can use a little drawing, whatever you like. If you're having technical difficulty with the whiteboard or finding the little drop down, give us a chat. We can help you find it. I had difficulty at first when I used it in a different webinar. Quick tutorials for launching our new LMS. Awesome.
That is
math
really cool.
Tutorials. Can never have enough math tutorials, people.
Never enough math tutorials.
I have a 17-year-old that thinks math is the devil, but he's very good at it. very good at it. So he gets to tutor my other children.
I think I'm going to start using it to teach my current department chair how to do things on the computer so that when I leave next year, he can still do everything that I do for him now.
See, that's really good.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. I don't know if Elisa wants me to share this or not, but we actually use this to help each other put this whole webinar together. So we corresponded that way. I got up late, let's say 2, 3 in the morning. She'd asked a question and I sent it to her in a tutorial. Go ahead.
So Angie asked where the drop-down menu was. Mine's currently on the top of my screen, and there's a view options. I believe it's possible that it's also at the bottom. It could be at the bottom of your screen, and you should see something in green that says you are viewing owner's screen, which is Chris, and then next to it in black is view options. When you click on that, the drop-down menu, there's annotate.
It's not user-friendly. I'm not gonna lie. I had a very hard time with the
I'm impressed
whiteboard.
with those of you who are doing it in writing, because it must be taking you forever.
Like the color choices. We have a green theme going on here.
Yeah.
I like the don't know. At least you're honest. I don't know. Not sure yet, but a great tool to have. It is. I ran across this actually by accident. My daughter in school was trying to tell me of something that was an extension, and I didn't end up using what she said. I ended up using this instead because the functionality is extremely easy to use. Even if we didn't give you a tutorial today, I believe that the functionality, if you pick around enough, because it's how I work, I believe that you would figure it out.
Yeah. It's very straightforward once you get it.
Yes, very much. So Meg, would you like to go on and give us some additional resources? I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Absolutely. And then we can pull the PowerPoint back up. So as you become a pro with Screencastify, there's definitely a lot of resources out there to make those videos the best they can be. And so right now, Melanie's going to share those links in our chat box, but as well, they are on the handout. So if you want to refer to it at a later time, you have all of these options. I really like this last one, how to create screencasts that don't suck. So this one's going to take you through some more features and how to make the best screencast you can do. So that way they're easy for people to follow. But thank you for your participation tonight. We hope you enjoyed this webinar. We hope that you take something out of it. If you have any questions, we're going to be around here for the next few minutes. Feel free to speak with your mic. Feel free to just type them in the chat box, as well as take our survey. The survey is a short survey. It will take about 1 to 2 minutes. It provides us feedback on the webinar and how we can improve it and what you liked and what would you change about it. So thank you again. We really hope that you enjoyed this. And also we've got a few more webinars that are coming up. There's actually one that's following us right at 7 o'clock. So if you want to learn more about Audacity, feel free to join in at 7 o'clock for the Audacity ones. And then there's going to be a few more later this week and next week. If you want those links, feel free to ask for them. But if not, we will see you later. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
And as you're leaving, don't forget about our survey.
All right. Wow. Aaron asked what the difference between this program and Camtasia is. Just
Camtasia.
Yeah.
Money.
There you go. That was a simple answer.
Yeah. I'm sure that there's a lot more bells and whistles. Again, this is a simplified version for people that want a quick way to go through and utilize the screen capture. I haven't myself compared the two, so I can't answer that 120%. But just like how you saw that you could with a paid version do a cropping, I'm sure that you can get far more fancier with Camtasia. It is a more expensive tool. I used it years ago, but I can tell you this is much simpler. I don't know that Camtasia actually lets you upload to YouTube and all that, you know, since this is very obviously Google oriented and everything is surrounded by Google. You try to find where you're going, who do you use? Google, right? So I would say that if you're trying to use it for YouTube as a quick reference, my preference anyway would be this. But to answer your question, 120%, not quite sure, but I would say bells and whistles probably.
Yeah, I think, you know, from what I've seen, Camtasia, I mean, it's been around for a couple of years. It's starting to really progress and get a lot more features, as Chris was saying, bells and whistles. Screencastify, it's really just your very basic, cut down, bare bones screencasting. So if you just need to really go in and grab some quick video and you don't really want to spend a lot of money, Screencastify is a great way to go. Camtasia, because it's got a lot more robust editing tools like Tana brought up, that, you know, you can get in there and do some pretty fancy things. I think, you know, with education, you know, education and professional training, we're not exactly the most highest paid professionals in the world. And I think for your money, Screencastify is a great tool. So we got any other questions? Thank you guys for hanging
around,
out
yeah,
and asking questions.
Good questions that I'm trying to research on my second monitor. And I didn't find an answer to that. There is a video about how to use both, but not apples to apples like how we did in the slide. Yeah. That was a good explanation, Elisa. Thank you.
Any other questions?
On a side note, Google says it is a good screencasting software for teachers. Boom, drop the mic, walk away.
We can go ahead now. We're going to post the link to our handout one more time.
Yes.
For those of you who had a chance to grab it.
Let me get that link again. And then I'm actually going to stop the recording of this in a second. So there's the handout link. And I'm going to